Hi, and welcome back to our next show of Cuppa Tea with the Vet. And today we've got on Silvia. Hi, Silvia.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Do we know how many people are here with us live?
Not right now. As we keep going, the numbers will tick up, and yeah, I do get to see it on my little screen. But to be honest, a lot of people catch it later, which is absolutely fine. So a lot of people love the catch up. By the way, I now feel the need to actually say something about my hair because it's embarrassing. And yeah, this is not me. And normally I'm very pink. And so, you know, this is what happens if you don't go and get a skin test 3 months before you do your hair colouring, okay? So just learn from my mistake. Go and get your skin test, and then you can have your hair done all at once instead of waiting for a few days like a ghost. So, yeah.
I've never had my hair dyed ever in my life.
I didn't either until I started to see a significant amount of grey, and then I decided, well, I've never dyed my hair before.
You have even more, huh?
I never had, and I thought, well, lots of people do dye their hair. What should I do? And I thought, well, I could either go back to blonde, which was my colour. My actual natural colour is like your natural colour. And I thought, let's have some fun. And I opted for let's have some fun. So my original colour I first went for my very first hair dye was pink with rainbow underneath. And
oh my goodness.
It was so cool. I was so chuffed with myself. I really was. And Natalie, my hairdresser, did the most incredible job. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then I never looked back on it.
How long did that take to create a rainbow colored hair?
Oh, it is a day. So you can't do it very often. It's usually does once a year. That's terrible. So but it's a lot of fun and I like it. And where I live, I feel like pink is like the new blue rinse. I feel like a lot of people have pink hair. So yeah, we don't.
I just recently met up with a friend 2 weeks ago, and she greeted me, and she had bright blue hair. I'm like, well, what happened here? It was brilliant. It was such a shock, but so much fun.
I think it's like getting quite normal now. I've seen politicians with like blue hair, green hair, and I think, well, if a politician can do it,
oh well, see, makes you happy.
Exactly. I love that cup, by the way. Exactly right.
It's very motivational. It's good for your morning coffee.
Definitely. So, Silvia, you must tell us about yourself.
Oh, God. Where to start? Okay, well, I'm a vet. First of all, I'm an equine vet, horses only. I did dogs and cats probably for the first few months when I graduated, and I'm kind of slowly getting back into it as well. But mostly equine vet. I have previously done research, so I've done a lot of lab research, some field research. I did some research with brown bears at home in Slovakia. That was good fun. So I have a lot of research background. I then became a vet, and then more recently I started just looking more into sort of business development and startups and how can we sort of help improve the vet profession and just sort of more at once rather than one per animal. So I'm now sort of helping and running a few startups, and yeah, hopefully I'll help to improve the profession somehow, both for the vets and for the pet owners.
I think that sounds amazing. Now, I definitely want to get back to that point much more, but I also really have to ask you, what was your research about brown bears? Because that sounds so cool.
Yeah, no, it was actually something pretty simple, but really that was just really annoying. So back at home, we have like about 80% of Slovakia is forest. So we have a lot of forest. I think we have 9 national parks, and there's a really high rate of brown bears colliding with cars, trains, and buses. And you heard about those sort of hotspots constantly. Like I've kind of like, oh yeah, this is where all the bears get hit. Like my whole childhood, I've been hearing this. So during my master's degree, I was like, you know what? I'm going to research that and see if I can do something about it. So I literally went over to Slovakia and got all the sort of brown bear vehicle collision information for the past 10 years and physically went to those spots and analyzed them and sort of saw why bottlenecks were there and just tried to help improve that. So yeah, that's what I was doing. Just trying to decrease the brown bear vehicle collisions in my country, basically.
That's amazing. I love that you sound like such a must make it happen person, which is amazing.
I'm definitely a make things happen person. I hate when people just complain and talk about things. I'm much more of a, okay, well, let's do something about it, you know? And so I think that's why I'm doing all these sort of startup stuff now. So
that's great. Can I just ask, did you manage to have an impact on the brown bear situation?
There is somebody who's kind of taken it on and followed the research forward. So they're now working on it. And there has been some sort of corridors built over some, motorways so that it prevents that. Some fencing was done. So bits and pieces. Obviously, it wasn't sort of all done at once, but hopefully it had some effect. To be honest, I didn't follow up with sort of have I decreased it, because I would have to sort of continue doing that research, and I don't have the funding for it. So yeah.
Well done though. That's an amazing thing. I know a lot of our audience out there will be like, oh my goodness me, well done you. I mean, you know, we all feel sorry for the wildlife out there, and you know, that's a huge impact. And yeah, and it's probably good for the traffic as well, because I'm not being funny, but you don't really want to have an argument with a brown bear. I'm quite sure your car won't come out that well.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I think also thanks to that, it's I don't really want to go into too much detail about this, but I am quite keen on sort of environment and wildlife and sustainability and all of that. So I think I mentioned to you, I'm part of a sustainability group for vets, and it's just, we can do so much more in the vet world and in the animal health world, and that like easy stuff that we're not doing. So yeah.
I definitely want to go back onto that. I definitely want to talk about that more. But let's talk about your startup stuff, because I think I really want to know about, more about what you were saying about making vets' lives better, because, you know, that's what a lot of this is about. Get people to love their vets again, and, you know, learn about them and learn they're human. And, and so I think that really plays part of it. You know, having these happy people treating our pets is important. So, you know, what's going on? Tell us about that.
So there's two startups I am sort of running. One is trying to look at more flexible working for permanent vet employees, and just to improve. The number one thing that vets are sort of struggling with is having a good work-life balance. And we're seeing a huge retention and recruitment crisis in the profession. There's a lot of people studying to be vets, but within sort of 5 to 8 years, quite a high percentage leave the profession because they can't actually sort of have the lifestyle they envisioned. And, you know, it's not because they don't like, I'm talking sort of more generally, obviously there's individuals, but, you know, sort of more generally, it's not because they don't like the job. It's just the system that's not allowing them to sort of be a vet and potentially, you know, have a family, do other things, do some hobbies, you know. It's quite sort of time constraining and stressful, and, you know, it's a caring profession, so we genuinely care, and there's a very little give back. So I'm just trying to find ways of how to improve on that. And I've been researching this for the past 2.5 years now. And having a bit more flexibility is, again, just the word flexible comes up time and time again. So that's what we're now doing. Me and my sort of co-founder, we have a few large paying clients, which is good. So some corporates, and we're, you know, consulting with them and seeing how they can improve on exactly that, you know, providing their permanent staff. So I'm not talking about like the locums that come in and do shifts, but like the permanent staff, how can they provide more sort of individual flexibility so that they can, just, you know, stay in the profession, you know, retain them. They're all talented people. So, you know, So that's the one that you asked about, you know, how we're trying to improve the profession. That's the one of my passion. Yeah.
And then like, so, you know, is it being reflected? Like, is it something that vets can contact you directly to find out about, or is it something that actually, no, it's an employer that contacts you to organize how they can use it within their workplace?
Both, really. I mean, it came from a very personal need for both me and my co-founder. So, and we were both employees. So we understand the employee perspective, and we've done an industry-wide survey. We've done a lot of one-on-one interviews with the employees and then also the employers. And, what we're aiming for is that kind of reciprocal flexibility between the employee and the employer, because it can't work if it's one-sided. So, the employer needs to be on board as well. It's not just the employees kind of saying, this is what we need, right? So,
yeah.
But as I said, I mean, I need to work with the employer because they need to be the ones implementing the changes. But anybody can contact us. We have a website, which I'm just altering a bit at the moment. It's called flexi.vet. I do have a Facebook group, so we chat there about what's happening, what the vets want, trying to champion some of the vet practices that are managing to do it. There's about 20% of practices in the UK that are making flexible working work. So, just trying to learn from them, what are they doing well, and trying to sort of see if we can sort of implement it onto the others.
That's amazing. So any of my vetty friends that are watching, if you want to know more about learning about flexible working, then contact Silvia and see what she can.
Absolutely. I'm very approachable. Yeah.
It is. It's really important because there are, it's a very female-dominated industry, and kids is the biggest thing, isn't it? So it's it's and that isn't necessarily even just a female thing. At the end of the day, dads want to get some kids time as well, and so. Just that very one thing, I can see how that's.
What's interesting, you say it's a female thing, and to some extent, absolutely, but to another. So when I look at the actual stats, of course, more female vets work flexibly because there's more female vets in the profession. But in the past 10 years, is it 10 years? Yeah, past 10 years, the higher increase in part-time work was in males. It was in male vets.
Oh, wow.
And that is a specific type of flexibility, is part-time working. So, flexible working doesn't mean teleconsulting. It doesn't mean part-time working. It doesn't mean remote prescribing. Those are just examples of flexibility, but you can still work flexibly and be a full-time employee, right? But so for just taking part-time is such a big thing. So when the industry looked at part-time vets, actually the highest increase was in male vets in the past 10 years, not in female vets.
Wow. Now that has blown my mind. That is very interesting. So that's really good. It's good that you've got your research background, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, I hate sort of, I hate sort of saying something that I don't have a good basis for. Like, it's, then it's a story. So, yeah. No,
that's great. And so tell me also about your VetSustain thing, because I think it's really important. I'm a massive eco head. I have I collect TerraCycle for my clients, pet food packaging, and blister packs now as well, that I then try and send off. I TerraCycle everything personally, but I can't take everything from my clients, so I draw the line. But I'm also a plastic-free business champion, with the Surfers Against Sewage. So I have done a lot to be eco-minded in my business, and I'm very proud of that. Tell me more about VetSustain. Like, how is that working and what's it doing? Because it is a huge thing. And I mean, the consumables in a veterinary practice is huge. So I'd love to know more.
Yeah, so the VetSustain is quite a new group, and it's trying to champion sustainability in the vet professions. So not necessarily directly working with sort of pet owners, more working with vet practices, vets and vet nurses, and just trying to provide them with, resources and the know-how of how to be more sustainable. So, for example, I mean, there is it next week? Next week, I'm doing I'm specifically there. I'm a sort of I'm part of the Greener Veterinary Practice working group. So there are different working groups within the organization. And obviously I'm specifically there as sort of equine lead. I think it's next week we're delivering some lectures on it. We've spoken at, was it a couple months ago at the SPIFs, one of the SPIFs CPD events. And I guess it's it's both ways, really. It's trying to explain to vet practices and vets and vet nurses what they can do, but also how they can educate their owners. So kind of pass it on, right? So, you know, and I mean, there is, as you know, there's multiple things you can do, you know, from energy to waste to pollution, etc. But one of the things that I'm quite keen on that has changed in the equine practice quite nicely already, but not so in sort of dogs and cats, which is kind of what's, in a way, it's linked to my sort of other startup. You can see that sort of everything I do, it has a common goal. Like, I do stay within the vet profession, the animal health profession. And so although I have quite a portfolio career, it is all that. And so, yeah, so for example, the one thing that changed in the equine is that a majority of practices where I've worked and continue to go and sort of do a bit of work, clinical work, most of the clients I hear now do worm count testing rather than just worming their horses. But I still don't see that sort of shift in the small animals as much as in the equine, which is interesting because oftentimes equine is the one that I feel is a bit behind, and small animals, sort of companion animal vet practices do things first, and this is just the other way around. And when I was doing, sorry.
I read that. I did read that about the egg counts, and because it was interesting. So we're talking about, you know, do we need to worm as much? So yeah.
And it's not only that, you know, you're putting extra chemicals into the pet, the horse, you know, that they might not need it. You know, diagnose it first before you treat it. You know, we do it with everything else. Why not with this?
Yeah.
You know, and then also when I was doing some research specifically with horse, and there is very, very little. But a couple of years ago, there was a study in France done, and they found veterinary pharmaceutical residues in 20% of the tap water samples. You know, so it's sort of circling back to us. And not only is it injuring the invertebrates, when like wormers stay in the environment for about 4 days, right? Like, you have a wormer, it goes out of the animal, it stays in the environment, it harms the invertebrates, and then it gets into the water, and then it gets back to us. So, you know, it's not just, you know, you're helping the animal, not giving it more chemicals that it doesn't need. You're helping the environment, and you're helping the humans as well. So,
yes.
You know, that kind of education we're trying to sort of, you know, push out there really, and sort of be the champions, but also be somebody that people feel they can come to if they need some more specific direction. So
I really hope you pull that off, because that sounds absolutely amazing. It really does. So yeah, fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, if you don't mind me sort of saying, so what I said about you know, how I said it, I sort of see that it's not so commonly practiced in small animals that people sort of just worm count before they treat, and it's not the core of the business, but one of the other startups that I'm literally creating the website for. So I can't even tell you what it's called Buddy Care. I can tell you that much, but it's not even, you know, I'm not even online. I'm more than happy to share it with you later. But all of
yeah, because I was going to say, is that the thing you wanted to say about? Because I was like,
no, yeah, because all of that is, you know, kind of circling back. While I do a lot of work with sort of vet businesses, I do still, you know, this is part of my work that I do directly with pet owners, and that is specifically with dogs and cats, and trying to empower the pet owners and help them to create the best lives and the best, happiest, healthiest lives for their pets, because, you know, they get their pets to have them healthy, not to have them sick. So this specific startup sort of concentrates on kind of preventing and predicting disease before they even need a vet. So kind of giving them this education, the know-how and the tools and the tips and products and services, anything and everything that they need before that. And obviously worming is one thing, but it's not a, so I'm trying to look at it a bit more holistically rather than just do worming or just do, you know, everybody knows about worming and vaccines, but there's so many other things that owners can do. So
yeah, no, that's amazing. And I can see so much scope for that. I mean, like, I remember when I was nursing and doing my trainee nursing, like, I loved lab work. And, you know, you had to go and you learned how to do your like fecal egg counts and all that stuff. And then you go to practice, you never do it. You just don't, you know, because it's not called upon. And actually the thought of being able to do it, I mean, It is a bit gross, but I really enjoyed it. So you can see like where those things can come into play, and you can still, you know, and empower your nurses and just keep.
And that's it though. Like there are some companies who are trying to sort of do it on a small scale, but you know, I'm kind of all for, as you said, as we said at the beginning, I just kind of need to see action. It just needs to happen in the profession, and it needs to happen in England, not just kind of, you know, it needs to start with one person or one company, sure, but it needs to grow. So
yeah. Oh, good luck. That's amazing. That's fantastic. That is amazing. Well done, you. Oh, blimey. We've just spent 20 minutes just finding out about your introduction. I haven't even found out anything about you yet. You're just so interesting. You've got so much going
whatever
on.
You want. I'm yours for the next few minutes still. So
you're literally like just bouncing off the walls with ideas.
It is a profession I love. You know, I love this space. So when I don't know who it was that suggested I speak to you, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, sure, I'll have a chat.
Oh my God, her name's popped out of my head now as well, and I know exactly who it is. Oh my God, can't believe it. My head's frazzled. Yes. Don't go white hair. Don't go white hair. Sucks the brain cells. So do you have any spare time? I was gonna say, what do you like to do with spare time, but do you even have any?
Of course I do. No, I like what I do, and I do what I like. So basically my spare time is now still. So, but yeah, what do I do in my spare time? I have an ex-race horse that I retrained myself. So, so I obviously ride him. I like to travel. Obviously COVID kind of stopped that, but there was 1 year where every month I was out of this country. Probably running after some sun, because I love sun. And,
lovely.
And yeah, no, I like to exercise. So sports, jogging, yoga, gym, swimming. So that's what I enjoy. Riding.
Oh, good. I'm glad you've got a good array of hobbies. That's really good. What's your horse's name?
Comet.
Oh, nice name.
Nice. His racing name is Farmer's Friend.
Oh, I like that actually.
And his stable name is Comet, and I kept it. I really liked it. So, yeah.
That is fair enough. No, that's lovely. So, I mean, I want to ask why you became a vet, but I mean, you obviously got so much passion. Have you just always wanted to be a vet?
Yeah, you got that right. I don't even know. I think it was quite a surprise for my family, because nobody from family was sort of animal orientated, horsey or anything. And yeah, I think first time I realized I want to be a vet was when I was probably 5. And I always wanted to do sort of horses. It was kind of, I don't know, I saw horses on pictures and I was like, I want to know how to ride, or I don't know where I got the idea from. It's just kind of always been there. And yeah, I dragged my parents to a pony sort of school or team or pony club, whatever you call it in Slovakia nowadays. Yeah, they booked me lessons, and actually the husband of of my instructor was a vet, so perfect. And literally that's where that was my happy place. With he was teaching me how to spot lamenesses in horses, and then I rode the rest of the time. So yeah, always.
Wow. That's very cool. So what has been your favorite part of being a vet so far? I mean, you've done so much, so that's just going to be a weird question as well.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite part, but I'm very much a people person. So I think this is the kind of profession that allows you to do both, sort of be with the animals and be with the people. You have to go through the human to get to the animal half the time. So I think that's one thing I really enjoy, that it is a sort of a people job as much as an animal job. And I think, I've done so much, because I think this degree sort of allows for that. You can do so many different things with your vet degree. So I think, and that's what I like. I like a variety. So
you definitely do. There's no question that you definitely like a variety. I mean, you literally have got fingers in. That's really great. That's really great. So, what would your dream achievement be if time and money was no object?
Well, I guess probably my 2 startups, seeing them succeed, actually having a proper impact on both the veterinary professions and the vets with Flexi, and also on helping the pet owners with Buddy. So I think, seeing them succeed sort of in the next few years and actually seeing some change, that would be my ultimate, like my dream achievement, like seeing the sort of recruitment and retention crisis in the vet profession go away or decrease. I'm not saying that flexible working will solve everything, absolutely not, but I'm just going off of what I've researched. So if I can have some little impact on that, then perfect. And I'll also, just help educate pet owners a bit more with preventative healthcare. So yeah, I think those really,
That's amazing. That's amazing. So is there anyone in your sort of team that you're working with you want to shout out, like that's helping you get through all these amazing things?
Oh my goodness, loads of people, everybody in the vet profession, really. I've been met with a lot of, like, I was surprised how approachable and open people were, both sort of when I was interviewing people for flexi employees and employers, but also when I was sort of finding some help and direction with, what is the best way to go forward, who to contact, etc. I mean, I'm probably it's best that I don't start naming people, because I will not stop, and then I will also miss out some people just by not having time. So I have a shout out for way too many people.
Just shout out for all of your amazing team, and they'll know who they are, right?
No, absolutely. They will know who they are. They've been a great support, and people are surprisingly keen to help you. I think a lot of people don't sort of, I guess, go forward with their ideas or dreams because of some sort of, I don't know, belief or fear about, approaching people. But actually, like, I love helping people. I've started, I'm approached constantly, and as long as I can pick up the phone or answer to the email, I will. Of course, I do miss some just because I'm so busy, but yeah, no, I genuinely like to help. I mean, that's the whole profession. It's a caring profession, right?
That is true. That is true. Well, thank you. And it's great that you do feel like that as well. So well done. And so I do like to ask all of my guests, what do you love about physio?
What do I love about physio? Probably the fact, well, I've been having a lot of physio now as well. I think what I like about physio is the thing that you can use it as a preventative thing as well as a treatment. And it's a great complementary thing. I think one of the things complementary to, your sort of the sort of surgery, medications, all of the stuff that sort of the vets do. But, you'd be missing out on half the treatment if we didn't have physios and sort of all the other sort of part of the team that make that help the animal to recover. If it's the kind of physio that's sort of let's say post-surgery physio. So it's just somebody that I can work with. I'm by no means somebody like, oh, I know it all, I can do it all. Like, I need a team. I'm such a team person. So
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Team is definitely the key. I like the team thing, and it's really, it is important. There's no I in dealing with veterinary anymore at all, is there? There's always such a huge team of people.
And there shouldn't be with anything, not just veterinary, right?
True. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So I know that we've only got a few more minutes with you, so I am going to keep this as quick as I can, but I want to ask you the best, most juiciest questions. So what is the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Probably getting my racehorse. I got him 2 months before graduating, before my finals. 2 months before finals, I had no job, I had no place to live after I graduated, but I had a horse, and that was my one of my 3 main dreams come true. So I wanted to be a vet, and I wanted a horse. So there was an opportunity, and I was like, yep, I'll take him. So that was very spontaneous. Literally, I went to see him, and the next day I had him. So.
That's amazing. But sometimes that's just how these things work out, isn't it? That's how I ended up with my my eldest dog, because I was like, oh my God. Well, I went to the rescue home, and I was prepared and stuff. I mean, I'm veterinary, but I went to the thing saying, well, we'll just see. I'll try to be good. And but I was like, no, I gotta have him. He's amazing. It's the first and only dog I saw. But
I think
yeah.
as long as you have some idea about what you're doing, it wouldn't be great. As I said, I got a horse, but I'm a vet. I know how to deal with horses. It's not like I went and bought a motorcycle and I've never ridden one. You know what I mean? Like, as long as there is some basis for it, then I think, life is too short and there's never a good time. The opportunities present to you, and if you don't take them, then you'll just miss out on them. So
absolutely, I could not agree with you more. So yes, that's definitely brilliant. I'm going to ask now, what's your weirdest dream? But it's going to involve your horse, isn't it?
I mean, I did have a dream last week that included my horse, and we were speaking to each other. So I guess that's weird enough.
I was so right.
That was pretty odd. I do have some weird dreams. I'm not sure if I'd call them weird. They're more scary and surprising because some of my dreams seem to come true, both bad and good, which is just really, really, more scary than weird. But yeah, I suppose talking to my horse in a dream was pretty weird. I think we were speaking in English. I don't know.
Oh wow! I didn't even click. So you're completely bilingual. So you do you think in
no,
the language? What do you call it?
Yeah. So I'm Slovak. I mean, I don't know if I think in Slovak or English. When I was a kid, I did once ask my mom what was my first language, and she didn't know because I actually I went to Japanese kindergarten. So she was like, yeah, it was either Slovak, English, or Japanese. I don't know. I'm like, okay.
Wow. So do you speak Japanese as well?
No.
Wow.
Not anymore. Not anymore, absolutely.
Did you used to?
Well, when I was a kid, I did live in Japan for 9 years, so...
Yeah, but it's really hard. I've got a Japanese friend, and she's told me about their language, and it's bonkers. Like,
it's a cool language. I love it.
Yeah, but it's really complicated, isn't it? Because they have sort of the young language, and then the older language, which is more the...
They have 3 alphabets.
Yes, exactly. And then they have some Chinese signs involved with their sounds, and oh my goodness me, it's so complicated.
It is complicated, and you never really learn it. It's one of those languages you keep learning. But then again, depending how philosophical you want to be, you can say that about any language, right? So,
well, I suppose so, but you don't feel like that about English, if that helps.
No.
I'm trying to learn German. I keep trying to learn German. I do speak a bit of German. I'm trying to be better, but it's very hard.
In Slovakia, your 2 languages you learn in primary school, you first learn English, and then a couple of years later you take on German. So those are 2 languages you learn in Slovakia when you go to school there. So I had German for I think 1 or 2 years, but again, like when I was like, I don't know, 8, 9, something like that.
Oh wow! So if I go to Slovakia, I might actually be able to get by with my German bit then as well.
Maybe, yeah. A lot of people do know German in Slovakia, or I mean, yeah.
As I say, but you're all speaking English anyway, so that's helpful.
Most of the world speaks English, yeah. But are you British? You're British, right?
Yeah.
I'm impressed you're learning language. I don't know many British people who just actively, of their own accord, learn another language.
I know, I do.
Listening who actually is learning a language, but it's such a comfortable language that you can get by everything with.
But I feel like I do also, because of that exact same thing, I feel quite rude about that. Like, because I've got a lot of friends all over the world. And so I feel like I can't just learn, like my Japanese friend, I've tried to learn some of her language. My Greek friend, I've tried to learn some of that language. I get the odd word, and I find it really hard to retain. So I thought, at least if I try with one language and I try to make an effort, I can at least say I've tried, okay? And so it's not so bad, but
well done you.
Thank you. My German friend does say that I'm doing quite well, which is quite nice, but when I went over to visit and I saw her parents, they were amazing at trying to speak English, but their attempt at English was so much better than anything close that I could do for them back. So I was mortified.
How long have you been learning for now?
Sorry?
How long have you been learning German for now?
Well, I did GCSE German, and I did all right. I got like a B back then, and then 20 years later, I started again. So I've been doing it for a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. But it's not it's not major. I'm trying my best, you know. I've got my little Duolingo app, you know. So it's pretty good. It is pretty good. So I'm going to ask you one more question, because I know that your time's pressed, and I'm really grateful that you've come and joined us. So I'd really like to know, what is your top tip for dealing with pain?
Top tip for dealing with pain? In what context?
Whatever context you want to take it in, because a tip's helpful no matter what you decide to do. Like, if you're an owner, maybe, you know, what would you do? Like, I don't want to leave you, that's my problem.
I think the first step is do something, right? So just don't let it go on. So I think my top tip is deal with it, is do something. It's oftentimes quite hard, you know, to just take that first step, because either, let's say, owners are umming and ahhing, like, is the animal in pain? Is it not? Is it just what I'm feeling? But, you know, they know their pets the best. If they think, oh, it might be in pain because this is not how it usually behaves, then it probably is in some level of pain. So just, you know, pick it up and take it to the vets, or call a friend and, you know, have them come around and see, okay, do you see what I see? Okay, yes, let's make a decision, take it to the vets, or you know, contact a vet online, or, you know, just whatever it is, but do something. I think that would be my number one tip.
That's a great tip, and I absolutely agree with you, because that is often what I'll get a phone call about, and they'll say, well, I think, I'm not sure they're really in pain. And then you say, well, you rang me. You must have rang me for a reason. So let's talk about what made you ring me. And then, you know, so I think you're right. Acknowledging it is such a huge thing. So, yeah, that's a very good tip, even though you were panicking.
Well, I was just, you know, that it can mean so many different things, you know, what kind of pain, what level of pain, what, you know, what are we talking about? But yeah, I suppose sort of thinking about it in general, then yeah, number one thing, you'll deal with it, do something. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Silvia, for joining us. I have really enjoyed our chat. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. My goodness me, you have got so much going on. It's untrue. And I wish you
could probably chat for much longer, couldn't we? But
oh my God, I would love to. Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I've been very strict with myself. You know, I've been told don't go on too long, so I haven't. So, so I'm going to leave you to it. But honestly, thank you so much, and really good luck with everything you're doing. I really hope you can make the veterinary industry more eco. That would be huge, and to make all the vets be happy and, you know, enjoy their veterinary life. Oh my God, that would be amazing as well. And so yeah, you've got a big load of tasks ahead of you, and I thank you for doing everything that you are trying to achieve.
It's not just me, as I said, it's the team, right?
It is. Well done, team.
I'm just trying to chivvy it in a certain direction, but
exactly.
At the end of the day, it's everybody making it happen, not just me.
You're the one representing the team right now, so you can take all the praise.
Well, what I can do, as I said, with some of the websites that I'm developing still, and, you know, getting them running, I can then maybe share them with you, and then we can share with whoever's been listening if they're interested in sort of, you know, actually learning more or finding out more. So I'm more than happy to do that.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, send me the links, and I can make sure I put them all in the comments as well.
And I think the two of us will have a chat more about physio specifically. I'm very interested, and there might be something I want to speak to you about business-wise.
Yay!
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Lovely.
Let's do that later.
Thank you ever so much, our wonderful audience, as always, for watching. I have really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. And I will catch you all in 2 weeks when we have our next vet back, who I'm trying really hard to get organised, because he's going to be really, really cool. You wait till you see who it is. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Donna. You take care.